Kalala Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akimater in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity and in honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel Brakta, today's lesson deep into the earth. Now, this story comes from Reddit, and it goes on to say, I can't legally explain how I know this, but it was purely accidental. In the 90s, a person came to me with a ridiculous story of working for 6 months or so in a system of tunnels that connects military bases in Utah, Arizona, California, etc. They told me there were 1,000s of miles of tunnels, and they never even saw the end of any of them. They had rail system, asbestos-coated pipes, lights, etc. This person claimed they looked like they were built or built out in the 40s and 50s overall. But some looked newer, and some looked natural, and some much, much older. Some opened up into huge bases or town-like structures, etc. Right, huge bases. Those deep underground military bases, those domes. A series of events followed that basically confirmed key parts of his story and led me to believe he was being completely truthful. Again, can't do details. Sorry, legally prohibited. Several years later, reports of this seemed to pop up all over. Even Musk is now involved, etc. There are reports of everything from ancient civilizations to alien bases, etc. I am not sure what the effort, let's put it that way. I'm not sure, WTF, these tunnels, etc. are, but apparently they are everywhere out west. Right, huge bases. Deep underground military bases. But here we have Amos 9:2, which says, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Though they dig into hell, meaning in their deep underground military bases, those domes. But they shall also hide in many other places of refuge, in which the scriptures speak of. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. It speaks of the Lord bringing them down from their international space station of refuge. The Lord allowed them to venture to a certain region of space, but they never set foot upon the moon. That was a total fabricated hoax. That was a lie. Even though the elites have operational facilities in the States, the elites will ride out that third world war in other countries because they know the judgment of Babylon the Great. The elites will ride out the indignation of the Lord in other countries. The elites will ride out the storm in the domes of the other countries, in those deep underground military bases of the other countries, you see? But no one has more underground facilities or domes than Finland and Switzerland. There are bunkers worldwide, but Switzerland alone has built the most bunkers. They have built the most bunker fortresses worldwide. As it stands, Switzerland has over 374,142 bunkers in existence, according to many video documentaries online. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea. Thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. The Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, will take them from all their mountainous regions, right? Because true Israel will require a workforce. Even that enormous Leviathan of the moist that was made to dwell in the depths of the sea will bite them in their underwater facilities, being in their underwater facilities. They showed you that in the movie Godzilla and in the movie The Meg. Those underwater facilities. All angles are covered. There's no place to hide from the eyes and judgment of the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. The eyes of the Lord, according to the scriptures, are his angels, are the angels. The time will come when the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, will use the Lord's chosen in full spiritual power to take them captive. Right? They shall take them from all their places of refuge. The enemies of true Israel in those facilities will serve the nation of Israel as servants and as handmaids, pursuant to the scripture of Isaiah 14:2. They shall take them from their places of refuge in order to fulfill the prophecy of Psalms 149, verse 8 and 9. Psalms 149 and verse 8, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, right? This is in reference to the elites of Edom in these worldwide underground facilities or wherever else they may be found. Remember that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's why it says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. You reap what you sow. The same way that they utilize the true nation of Israel as their workforce to build their cities, that is the same exact way that the Israelites will utilize them in order to build our righteous kingdom. This is what you call a righteous balance. Right, because it will be easy for the Israelites, being in full spiritual power, to build their kingdom. Israel went into captivity, so by the perfect balance of the Lord, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Perfect balance. Because it will be easy for an Israelite man being in full spiritual power to build the kingdom. 1, 2, 3. But judgment must play out. The scripture of Isaiah 60:10 has said, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Judgment must play out upon those that came up against the true people of the Lord, Yahweh wa Yahushai. Because they have touched the apple of the Lord's eye. The scripture of Isaiah 60:10 is a perfect example of what shall take place. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, according to the scripture of Revelation 13:9 and 10. That is perfect balance. Here we have that scripture of Psalms 149 verse 9, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. The saints are Israelites. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And this is the perfect will and righteous balance of the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, for the things done unto the true nation of Israel, which consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Tainos, and Native American Indians. You are the 12 tribes of Israel. For what was done unto the true nation of Israel, judgment must play out against all these heathen nations. Because all these heathen nations had true Israel in captivity. And the word same means holy and is in reference to the true Israelites. And what made Israelites a special people unto the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, was the law, statutes, and commandments in which he gave us. This in turn made us separate from among the rest of these heathen nations. And when it comes to salvation, it's only meant for the Israelites, and it's not for everyone outside of true Israel. Now, if salvation is for everyone, then who is the Lord coming to judge upon his second return? That's one question you need to ask yourself. If salvation is for everyone as they claim, then who is the Lord coming to judge upon his second return? The Lord did say in Matthew 10:34, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. But during the Lord's righteous anger, the slain of the Lord shall be many, according to the scripture of Isaiah 66:15 and 16. First cometh the CHRP of Revelation 13 and 16, and then cometh that third world war of utter destruction quickly. It cometh quickly as soon as they pass that mandatory CHIP. In that third world war, the land where the small hats are now occupying, are now residing, shall rebuild, but Babylon the Great shall never rebuild. And Babylon the Great speaks of America. It shall be made desolate and without inhabitants. And that's why these elites will hide in the bunkers of the other nations, because they know the judgment of modern day Babylon the Great, which shall be from coast to coast. When it gets pelted by those arrows of mass destruction. The Lord shall leave that land of Babylon the Great desolate and without an inhabitant. Without inhabitants, it shall become a total wasteland. Right, desolate. After those 200 million arrows of mass destruction come upon her. But as soon as that smoke clears, it shall become full of wild birds. They shall move in once the smoke and the fire dies down. Modern day Babylon the Great shall burn for a long time, that is for certain. But upon that modern day Babylonian land, those bunkers shall not save anybody. You're talking about a bombardment of 200 million missiles chipping away at the land upon every strike. But they shall hide deep into the earth. With that being said, Kal Olam Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to the elders of Jemas Ruel, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity and in honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah. Shalom.